Lay it on the line, talk through our problems. Let's try resolving them. Should we even try? Meet me halfway, and I'll give you time.
Hey guys, welcome back to Lay It on the Line. It's your girl Jamila, and today I have a special guest. We have Mr. Nian Beck, and he is our middleweight champion of Elevate FC. And if you guys don't know what that is, he is a MMA fighter, and he is #1 in Texas. And how big is Texas? Texas is like really huge. So that means that he has beat everybody that has stepped in the ring with him, and he's #1. So, Mr. Nian, before we get into everything, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and what got you started in MMA fighting?
I'm from Raywood, Texas. Whenever people ask me, I normally say I'm from Liberty because it's just easier. It's on the way to Beaumont.
Okay.
But I'm originally from Raywood, and I grew up in Raywood. I spent a lot of time around Houston because my dad's from here. But I started fighting. Because I really wanted to. I remember my first one. I was in daycare. I think I was 4, and it was this fat kid, and I think he took my toy, and he double-legged me on my head in the dirt, and that sucked real bad.
You can remember that?
Yeah,
that must have been a traumatic experience.
Probably does count as a traumatic experience. That hurt really bad. I didn't go to the hospital though.
Okay.
It sucked. I beat him up the next day though. I didn't let him grab me.
Okay. So that just kind of gave you the drive, like, ooh, I beat him up. Let me see who else I can beat up.
Kinda. I mean, it was the first person I fought besides my brother.
Okay.
And
is your brother older or younger?
He's older than me.
Okay.
When I was young, my brother used to beat the crap out of me, man.
Ooh.
Oh man, I used to lose almost every time.
So does your brother try to fight you now?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So did your brother kind of like take credit for helping you become the #1 middleweight champion?
He might. He wouldn't be wrong.
Okay, so who is this that we have next to you?
This is Devin. Devin is my striking coach.
Striking coach. So can you explain to me what a striking coach is?
He helps me punch people better.
Do he punch you?
Yeah, sometimes when I let him.
Ooh.
Yeah. When he's like, put gloves on, let's spar.
Okay, so tell me on an average, like how often do you train?
At least 4 days a week, at the least.
And how long is that for a day?
It depends. Sometimes it's 2 hours. Sometimes I'll stick around for multiple classes. It'll be like 2.5 hours. Most of the time, though, it's like an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes.
Okay, I'm just thinking, like, when I'm walking up my stairs and back down the stairs, I'm out of breath and I'm very winded. So you're practicing for like 2 hours a day. So, like, I instantly think about Mayweather. Like, he said that he runs, like, miles and miles. So, like, within your training, are you running? And if so, like, how often or how long of a distance are you running?
I don't run long distance. I do sprints. I do a lot of sprints. Now, most of you might think that I don't have cardio because I don't run long distance. You're wrong. You're very wrong. All right.
Yeah.
But I just don't. It's not that I don't like running long distances. It's just fights or sprints. They're bouts of sprints.
So the average fight, how long? Well, I stalked your Instagram page, right? And I saw that you had one fight, and I don't think that it lasts 10 seconds.
It's 7 seconds.
It was 7 seconds that you. Did the guy even hit you?
No.
Okay, so.
I felt kind of bad for that guy.
Did you?
He was a last-minute replacement.
Yeah, he was a last-minute replacement.
He had no business being in the ring.
I'm pretty sure he regretted it because you hit him, what, 2 times?
Yeah.
Was it 2 times?
It was at least
2 times.
So are you like a power puncher?
I think I hit pretty hard.
You're the #1 and middleweight champion, so I'm pretty sure you hit really hard.
I don't know. I didn't really know I hit hard until I started fighting. I always thought I did, but I never knew for sure. I'm more of a pressure fighter.
What's a pressure fighter?
Always put a pace on someone. Be right in front of them. Always right in front of them. Don't give them any time to breathe.
So you like up close and personal, like.
I try to be.
And see, you know what? That's what I have a son, right? And I always used to tell him growing up, because he's the only child, I say, you never let anybody invade your personal space, because if they get this close, then they can hit you. And I'm the type of parent, I tell you, you hit first. Don't let somebody hit you first, because if they hit you first, it might be the only punch that they get. So if you keep somebody like at arm's length distance from you, the chances of them knocking you out, you know, are not as great as them hitting you. Like, do you like to hit first, or do you wait and let them hit you and kind of feel them out in the ring? What's your strategy?
So the goal, as soon as the bell starts, is to be first. It doesn't always have to be a punch. It could be the first to take the center. It could be the first to take a step forward. If we both meet at the center, it could be the first person to reach and touch out their hand. It doesn't always have to be the first strike.
Okay.
Like, for me, the fight starts before fight day. Like, it starts at the face-offs and the weigh-ins when we see each other. Because impressions have a lot to do with fighting.
So is that real? Like, when you see them and they go up and they're in the little boxers and y'all are do your weight and then y'all in each other's face talking trash? Like, is that animosity or is that acting, or like, are you building yourself up to get like a hate for this person so that you can wear them out in the ring? Like, how do you mentally prepare for that?
I don't hate anyone I fight. I mean, the last person I fought talk crap to me, and he's the only person I fought that's talked crap to me.
Is that the person you knocked out in 7 seconds?
No, that was Tyler Thax in my last fight that I won the title.
Okay.
With. But I didn't speak.
Wait a minute. So the guy that you won the title belt for is the only person that talks smack to you?
Yeah.
So people should not talk smack to you, sounds like.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty fun. I thought it added some spice to it.
Okay. Okay. So before you go into the ring, so your fight starts when you're doing the weigh-in. That's when you're prepared, like, okay, it's a fight. So before you go to the ring, are you nervous, or do you have to like tell yourself, okay, you're gonna win? Like, what goes on in your mind before you get to the ring, before you take that first kick, punch, or step to the middle of the ring?
Well, I've never actually been nervous for one
Never?
of my fights. When I was younger, I used to get nervous for other competitions like sports and whatnot. But when I started fighting, I never felt any nerves.
Is it because you're passionate about it and it's just like comes natural for you?
I don't know. I've thought about it a little bit, but I can't really come to a conclusion. Because you're supposed to be nervous. I'm about to go out here and almost die.
Well, the best example I can give is, were you nervous the first time you drove?
The first time I drove a car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I was pretty
probably right. But then you get in a car now, just go
The
to
more
store.
you do it, the better.
You get adjusted to it.
Okay.
So it's just like a Tuesday now.
Devin always tells me there's two possible outcomes: you win or lose. Once you
Yeah.
get
The most
wrapped around
definitive
that.
thing you'll ever do in your life is fight in a cage. Because
In a cage.
There's only two outcomes. There's nothing else. You
Yeah.
win or you lost.
Man, that just seems... Okay, so from a mom's point of view, does your parents, do they go to your fights all the time?
Yeah, my
Mom too?
My mom's been to every one, and I'm pretty sure my dad's been to every one too.
So do you hear, like, is she the type of mom that's screaming and saying, Doug,
Oh yeah, they
kick?
scream.
So
They scream.
do you hear her when you're in the ring?
No, I don't hear anyone.
You
I don't
tune
even
everything
hear
out?
them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't even hear me. Yeah. He hears me sometimes, but not all the time. It's also really loud. You know,
Really loud.
And if he's in the zone, we'll call it just being in the zone.
Okay.
He can't hear anything.
So you have like tunnel vision with your opponent?
Not necessarily tunnel vision. I still see stuff. It's hard to focus on one noise.
Okay, so you're pretty good with focusing on your target. All right, so if you could be like anybody else, or if you're inspired by any other fighter, who would you compare maybe like your fighting style to, or who do you aspire to be better than?
I really want to fight like Demetrius Johnson. I like how he mixes in his striking and his grappling. Like, he uses his grappling to complement his striking, much like GSP did with his wrestling. He used his striking to complement his grappling.
So grappling, what is grappling? It's like grabbing somebody and holding them down?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've noticed a lot lately that I'm more a little bit like Alex Pereira because I keep knocking people out.
So how long have you been, because now you're the #1 champion in middleweight. So how long have you been doing it, like your amateur level, right? So how long have you been doing it amateur level before you got to the #1 spot?
I started fighting last year in February. My first fight was scheduled, and now we're here.
That is amazing, because I know like a lot of people, they fight for a very long time before they get to the #1 spot. So how many fights, do you know how many fights you've had?
4. This is it's a lot different than boxing. Boxing, when you're in amateurs, most of those guys, like the top guys, they have like 300, 400, 500 fights.
Right.
They box in amis from the time that they're like 12 to the time they go pro.
But still, like, just for me, somebody that doesn't know a lot about, you know, MMA fighting, just to hear, like, #1, you're 19 years old. You're 19. Like, you're not even old enough to drink, and you've only had 4 fights, and you're #1. Like, I know your parents have to be, like, super proud, but, like, I would not want to be an enemy of you that if you only did 4 fights and then these fights are lasting like 7 seconds, like, how big has your head gotten? Has your head gotten big, or are you still kind of humble?
My head's already pretty big. It's hard to find hats.
It's part of my job, just to make sure that thing doesn't fall off.
But,
You know what I mean? Part of what I'm here for is keep them grounded.
Right.
I don't know. It's a little surreal. Well, it was a little surreal. And I was just like, yeah.
So when you knocked the last guy out, the guy that was talking all this smack to you, he comes and he has the belt. Like, I don't know, like, how, like, paint a picture for me that day when you won your championship belt.
So I knocked him out, and I told him to kill me because he had told me that he was going to kill me in the parking lot the day of weigh-ins. And I walk over, and we're waiting for him to get woken up and checked out on. And he has his nose fixed. And then they raise my hand, and he throws the belt on me. The belt was upside down. But I raise the belt, and I go all caveman, like, ah! But I walk back in, and then it really starts to hit, like, oh, man, I'm a champion.
Right.
Yeah, like, I'm telling my coach, I'm grabbing him and stuff, like, oh, man, I'm a champion. I'm grabbing all of them. I had three of my guys in there. I had my strength coach, had my wrestling coach, and I had Devin here. And it was like, wow, man, the last 4 years you've been thinking about fighting, and now you have a belt.
Man, how did you feel as his coach for him to win that fight?
Extremely proud. He is just becoming the person that I've seen all this time. He's slowly morphing into that man, you know. It's, makes me very proud.
I'm proud for him. Like, so my significant other, he's into all of this stuff, right? And when he saw your dad posted on Facebook your fight, he was like, oh my God, Roy Beck's son is an MMA fighter and he just won a belt. He was like, we need to go to one of his fights. So I'm like, let me go on and hit him up and see when is this next fight. So can you tell us, when is your next fight? How are you do you have a choice in who gets to fight you, or does the association say who he gets to fight next?
So in terms of my next fight, I'm not exactly sure yet. I'm kind of thinking about May. They have an event coming up in March, but I don't think I'll be going to that one. But in terms of who I'm fighting, I don't really know yet. Usually Chris gives me, the promoter, he usually gives me a list, and I do my research on the people and I pick from the list. But as of right now, we don't have any names.
So when you do your research, is it kind of like how football is? Like, you sit down and you watch the plays and you watch to see, like, okay, this person does this. Are you, like, looking at their fighting technique so you can be like, okay, well, this person, he doesn't guard his face, so I'm just start wheeling at his face? Like, what do you do to prepare yourself for your next opponent?
We look for patterns. We look for patterns, things they constantly do that we can take advantage of. I'm sorry, my mouth is full.
No, you're good.
Also, arguably more important is to research the people to make sure they're not on
on gear.
Yeah, make sure politically it's PEDs, performance enhancing drugs.
Okay.
Because it doesn't do us any good to put him in front of somebody that is roided to the gills for them just to lose the fight but somehow still injure permanently. It takes one bad heel hook, one really hard punch to the back of the head, and then it could completely derail the whole career. So we have to be real diligent about finding, really looking at people. You know what I mean? If you got biceps on your traps, like, we're probably not going to fight you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you're in the ring and you're fighting, do you feel those punches and kicks in the ring, or do you feel it the next day?
Both. Now let me explain. The headshots, you don't feel those. You don't feel those. That's just concussion.
So you have like a hard head?
Not necessarily. It's just all that adrenaline pumping through your face.
Okay.
You don't really feel the sharpness of the punch, but you're like, oh man, I just got hit really hard.
Yeah.
And your vision will shatter, and it'll shake a lot. But to the body, you feel all of those. Those kicks I took last fight, those stung, man. I mean, I still blocked them, but those stung.
So after you finish fighting, do y'all go and get in like an ice tub or something like that?
No, I'll take a shower.
He's a weenie. He doesn't do the ice.
Really? And you just wait and let it, like the bruises go away?
They go away after like a week or so. I don't think I still have these. Yeah, they're gone.
We're also exploiting the fact that he is 19.
Young and heals fast.
His bones aren't even all the way hard yet.
The only thing I really hurt
still a lot of cartilage.
The only thing I really hurt in my fights are my knuckles.
Okay, so in your fights, y'all have like the gloves, but your fingers are out the gloves, right? And that's what hurts is your knuckles?
No, like the knuckles that I punch with.
Oh, because you're more like a power puncher, right? Because you just hit this one guy 2 times and knocked him out in 7 seconds. So and when I look at you, you look really slim. So I guess to say never judge a book by its cover, because like I wouldn't look at you and think like, oh, this dude can knock somebody out in 2 punches.
I think my bones are really dense.
He's being modest, but his technique is really on point.
It
is really the mastering off of
It doesn't look good, but
it doesn't look good, but the timing he has with it, it all lines up when it's supposed to.
Well, he's definitely good because he's the #1, middleweight champion. So what does it mean to you to be a fighter?
it's who I am. Not necessarily the fighting part. It's just me. I mean, threw a label on it because that's what it's known for. But it's just who I am. This is just a normal day for me. Fighting it's not all I am, but it's what I know the most about. You know?
Okay. So I saw one of your videos on your Instagram page, right? And your Instagram page is Sophisticated Cockroach, right? So for anybody that wants to follow him, you can go onto Instagram and look up the Sophisticated Cockroach.
Sophisticated Cockroach.
So on Instagram, there was a video and you were talking to somebody, maybe like a quick interview, and you said that you got bullied. So the bullying, was that when you were 4, or did you get bullied past that?
It's always been hard to make friends when I was young. Because I wasn't into what everyone else was into. Especially the area I grew up, really rural, really southern. I was more of a city kid, nevertheless. I like anime, like cartoons, art, you know. But the bullying didn't suck until I got to like junior high, like 6th grade.
Yeah, that's where most people get bullied, because you don't know who you are and everybody's trying to find themselves. So somebody was bullying you in middle school?
Yeah. I don't know. It got to the point where you laugh at it. And everyone was like, "Oh, it's jokes," but it still kind of sucked.
So, do you know any of the people still that bullied you when you were in middle school?
Yeah, I know all of them.
And do they know that you are the MMA?
Yeah, I was fighting in school.
Okay, so you got bullied and you was beating up people? Like, how do you bully somebody that can beat up everybody?
I don't know.
Is that where your technique came from? Like, you started practicing on the kids at school?
When I started training, I think I was 12 or so.
Okay.
I got a heavy bag for Christmas, and I hung it up outside on a tree. And I used to watch YouTube videos like Fight Tips and Quan Kicker, and I used to practice them on the bag.
Okay. So you've been training since before now, because it was just something that you kind of naturally took an interest in. I
went to go do my first ever martial arts class the summer of, I think, 2019. I was 13. I think I was 13. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Am I right about that?
I have no idea.
I'm terrible at math.
So how long have you guys been knowing each other?
About 4 years.
Yeah, it's been about 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Because I started a few months after you had already been at Oscars. Yeah.
So if you could fight anybody, who would you want to fight next?
Abraham Lincoln. Oh, you mean like now?
Like in the... Wait, when you say Abraham Lincoln, is there like somebody that calls himself Abraham Lincoln?
No, Abraham Lincoln.
Like
the president.
Why would you want to fight Abraham Lincoln?
He's in the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Is he really? I never knew that.
I think he went undefeated in like 200 matches. Let's Google it.
Oh, God, okay.
And Abraham Lincoln, like, how tall was he? Are y'all in the same weight class?
Probably wouldn't be. I think he's a little slimmer than me. I think he'd be a 70-pounder, but we were close to the same weight. He was a good bit taller than me, but I mean, yeah, he was a good bit close to the same height. He was a good bit taller than me.
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense.
Abraham Lincoln. I'm like, okay, is that a new person, or? But he's talking about the Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, he was 312.
He was 312 what?
Wins and losses. I think. No, 300 victories over 12 years. There we go. His only defeat came at the hands of Hank Thompson.
I never knew. Did you? Well, I'm pretty sure you knew that, but like, I never knew that Abraham Lincoln was a fighter. That's very interesting to know.
I knew that he wrestled, but
he wasn't a fighter. He just wrestled. But wrestling was a lot more. Wrestling was a lot more inclusive with his techniques back in those days. They've outlawed a lot of the stuff that they used to do in wrestling.
Okay. So in today, somebody that's alive that fights now, if you could say you're next, or I want to fight you, who would it be? Do you have anybody in mind that you would think about fighting in? Did you say like in June or this summer?
May.
In May, yeah.
No, not that anyone I can think of. When I get opponents picked, I just focus on them. I don't really look up the other potential matchups because I still got to get through the person in front of me, you know.
Yeah, but there's nobody in front of you right now because you're at the top. You're like number 1 in Texas, and Texas is really big. So I'm pretty sure that it's a lot of people that's sitting back. You know what? I cannot wait to fight the Sophisticated Cockroach. You know, where did that name come from, by the way?
You see this guy?
The planter guy?
The peanut guy? So imagine him sitting on a very ornate chair, with a cigar in his hand. Now, the monocle and the top hat, right? Add a suit, a 3-piece suit, and a red tie. Now throw a cockroach in that suit.
Okay.
That's where the name came from. I should get that tattooed on me.
If it doesn't make sense, it's not supposed to.
Okay, so you just liked it and it stuck with you?
It's just a sophisticated cockroach.
We just put that in a folder called nonsense. Leave it alone. That's what we do.
Okay, because when I was thinking about it, I'm like, okay, let me try to make sense of this sophisticated cockroach. When I think of a cockroach, it's like you can't really kill a cockroach. They come out at night, and then, you don't see them in the daytime. They come out at night, and then you try to kill them, but they really fast, and they get away. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's like you're just like, okay, I'm sophisticated, but I'm a cockroach. You can't catch me. You can't step on me, like. That's how I made it make sense in my head. But
cockroaches are really cool. I really like them.
He's
really
also,
resilient.
You're also really hard to kill. So it's you unintentionally have the best name ever.
I like that name. I find it very amusing because just the way that I made it make sense in my head. Like I really thought that it was a different meaning to that.
I didn't think about it that way either, but that makes perfect sense.
See, that's my nickname too. Nian Beck. Like, what's he trying to do? Is he trying to kill me? Is he trying to win? Is he trying to lose?
That's the question we're trying to answer.
But that, see, boom, right there. But sophisticated cockroach is also a marketing tactic. Okay. No one's ever had to write my name down. Like my Instagram handle, they've never had to write it down. They just remember it.
Yeah, I can actually remember sophisticated cockroach better than I can remember
my name.
Yeah.
There was a guy. I think his name's Kurt. Clear Life Media. I might be wrong in the name. I'm sorry, I might be wrong in the name. But he's like, hey, sophisticated cockroach. I'm like, hey, guy.
Yeah. So I got you a shirt made.
You got me a shirt?
I did. I got you a shirt made, and it's a Lay It On The Line shirt.
Cool.
And Done Perfections is the person that put the shirt together, and we got your name put on the back of it, the Sophisticated Cockroach. So I want you to go ahead and wear that shirt and think about Lay It On The Line when you wear that shirt.
Oh, that's fine.
And our production over here has a clothing line as well called Who Made That? And he got you, because I see that you have a unique style, and it's crazy because you have a vest on without the sleeves on it, and he got you this vest that doesn't have the sleeves on it. So we have some gifts for you for for coming and joining us today.
These are fire, man. I love clothes.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Glad you liked it. But I was checking you out. I saw that you have a unique style, and I like that. I like when people are not afraid to be themselves and, just show your personality and let your personality shine for you.
Yeah, these are dope. These are fire.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to what you have on. So it was like, we stalked your page a little bit, try to see what you like, and, just give you something to remember us by.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.
So I have another question for you. Actually, I have two questions for you before we wrap up this interview. If you could be remembered in any way, or if it's something that you want somebody to know about you, what is it that you want the world to know about you or to remember you by?
I really hate olives.
Why do you hate olives?
I don't know. I just don't like the way they look.
Have you tasted them?
Nope.
So you haven't tasted them. So you're judging olives. Just like I say, don't judge a book by its cover. So you can't not like something.
I judge every book by its cover. I do not read the little thing on the inside of the slit of the page. I don't read that. If the cover's cool, I'm going to read the book.
Okay. Well, that's one way of thinking. So if anybody wants to take you out, do not buy him olives. He doesn't like olives. All right. My next question. And I always wrap up my show with this question. But you're only 19, so with this question, it won't be too far back that you have to think. If you could go back to your younger self, what advice, with you being right here, 19, the middleweight champion of MMA, like what would you go back to tell your younger self if you can go tell your younger self anything or give your younger self some advice?
You need to move. You need to move to Houston. Yeah, I would have done that.
You would tell your younger self, or you would tell your mom that
I would tell myself, because I had the option. I didn't want to.
Oh, okay. Because you grew up in a small town outside of Houston. Yeah. So do you feel like if you made the decision when you were younger to move to Houston, do you think that you would have better options, or your life would be? How do you think your life would be different if you had to move to Houston?
It would definitely be different. I'm not exactly sure how much so, but everything worked out in that small little town. Like I have a great team behind me. We work really hard. They were just. it's hard to think about the benefits that I would have had moving to Houston when I was younger, but I feel like there would have been benefits. I'm not saying that I regret staying where I am because my team is amazing.
Right.
Like Oscar Sakata, the owner of Liberty Jiu-Jitsu, he changed my life, man. Look at me now. I have a belt. The belt's not here. I forgot the belt. But I have a title.
Belts.
I have an amateur title, and I'm on my way to go pro.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to be famous now.
For me, you're already famous. Like, I'm already sharing. Like, I made a whole video, and I share it on my social media because, like, I see the potential in you. Like, I'm just amazed that you're only 19 and that you're already fighting. Like, I see everything positive vibes when it comes to you. So it's like I told your dad, like, I want to support you. I want to let the world know who you are. And I'm telling people, like, hey, check this young man out. He's on the rise. Like, y'all need to be on the lookout. He's right here in Houston. You know, like, Houston is such a big city, and I feel like we have so much talent here, but they're sleeping on the talent. So it's my job to let everybody know who you are and let them, don't wait till you get way up here and you're famous. Y'all need to know who he is now. Start getting on that coattail right now. Like, people need to be investing in you and building you up and letting you know, like, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you.
So tell me about your facility in case anybody is in your area and they're interested in becoming the next sophisticated Cockroach.
Well, we are smack dab in the middle of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
It's right off of Main Street. It's not a gigantic place, but it's called Liberty Jiu-Jitsu. We primarily do jiu-jitsu there, and I run a class every once in a while, a kickboxing class. We also have another fellow named Paul runs a kind of just like a cardio kickboxing class.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is just coming in to train. You know, we're kind of a hobbyist gym, but also we have some people in there that will absolutely try to kill you if you try to kill them first.
Right.
You know, so if you're trying to get there, you just got to put the time in.
Yeah.
There's no magic to it. It's all hard work.
Yeah, but you know, it's a lot of successful people that come out of small towns. Like, even with the colleges, like TCU, it's a small college, but a lot of people that go to those small colleges end up going pro. So you're coming out of Liberty, a small town. You're already at an amateur, the top number one. So the next step is pro. You know, and I want to be there for it. Like, you have to let me know when you're going to do your next fight. We're going to be there. And
For sure.
I'm very loud. I don't know how loud your mom is to where you don't hear her in the ring, but I guarantee you're going to hear my voice because I have a big voice. And
y'all should sit next to each other.
Yeah, we should. But the only thing is, I'm like, oh my God, like, if my son was in the ring and somebody kicked him, I don't know that I could just stay out the ring and just let him finish the fight. Like, has your mom ever tried to jump in the cage?
My grandma said that same thing. My grandma said that same thing, but she stayed where she was. You'll be all right.
I'll be okay?
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Ooh, I don't know. It's just, but I want to thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
I just want you to know, like, stay focused, stay positive. You know, don't let any of the negativity affect where you are in life, and keep doing what you're doing. I know that from a mom's point of view, a parent's point of view, like, your mom and dad have to be so proud of you because there's so many other things that you could be doing with your talent that can affect your life in a negative way, and you're doing it in the right way, and you're doing it to make a future for yourself. A lot of kids nowadays don't know what they want to do with their life, and you've already found your passion. Like, when you can have a job that you enjoy doing, like, you would do it for free. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine, like, you're perfect at your job right now because you're number one. It's just going to make going to work that much easier for you. And then once you get to a certain level, you can teach other people to, you know, stay humble, to protect themselves, or to just do it for fun. So I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Stay in touch with me. Let me know when you have the fights. We want to come, and, you know, we have our own little production team right here too. If you need somebody to come video you, if you need pictures, we're right here. We'll do all of that for you because I want to promote you, and I want the world to know, like, look out. Look out. And don't be talking smack to him because he enjoys fighting people. All right. So is there anything else that you guys want to share before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I actually want to give a particular shout out. I know Mr. Nian already did, but Oscar Sakata, he didn't just change
Look right there.
Nian's life. He changes the life of everybody he comes in contact with. Mine especially.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oscar's a special man.
I truly believe none of this would have happened without Oscar being the foundation that we build everything off of.
Yes. So Oscar, thank you. Yes. Thank you. And that says a lot about a person when they're not in your presence and you can still speak highly of them. So that would make me want to know who Oscar is. And I wish he could be here with you guys today, you know, but Yeah, I'm glad that you guys have somebody like that you can give a shout out to in thanks, because you give people their flowers while they're here, and it means a lot.
Yep.
All right. So thank you guys so much for laying it all on the line. We look forward to your next fight, and congratulations on that belt.
Thank you.
Lay it on the line, talk through our problems. Let's try resolving them. Should we even try? Meet me halfway.